Robert Smith, you're going to start your own podcast. That's your next big adventure.
You realize how many people you're after terrifying right now by that statement straight away. Yeah.
Half a foot leisure running for cover.
I was in most of the country now, yeah, but in all fairness, there's the one person in the whole world that has no filter and everyone knows it and he's going live on the air. Anything could happen. No, we're actually looking forward to it. Look, you know me a long time now, and we've always been involved in the bikes. And either you're involved in motorcycles or truck shows or anything around, at the one end of it all, charity is at the back of everything we do
Yeah.
for some reason. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. And a couple of years ago, my partner, she said she wanted a tractor. And I said, right, if I buy one, I'll do it up, but you design it. And the condition was, I'll do any tractor you want once it's not fucking pink. Right? That was anyway, Karen been a bit of a rocker anyway. She got this David Brown 1212 and designed it. And I was surprised myself about the way it turned out.
Yeah,
It was absolutely brilliant. So she's done it in the team of ACDC.
brilliant.
And the tractor turned out that good has actually been used in a couple of weddings as a feature as well and
Very
stuff like
good.
that. So down along the line, people said, what are you going to do next and whatever? And I just said to myself, why don't we record it? And I have a couple of projects in mind. When I filmed the finishing of the David Brown, Jack was here with us tonight. He brought down a drone and I said to him, can you put this music to it? And I was just amazed at what he could actually do. And I said, you know what? We're onto something here. Let's do it. Now, there's everybody's out there doing restoring machinery and stuff. We're going to be a little bit different. As you know yourself, it's going to be uncut anyway. That's the first thing. I have about 9 different projects I want to do. So we want to film them and we want the public to vote over which one I do first. Now, the next one, this in line, there's one there we're going to do a tribute to the Bull McCabe. I have one there I'm going to do to Michael Collins.
Very good.
And I have the idea in my head what we're going to do. We're going to explain people. Um, in the middle of doing up these things, we'll be doing podcasts as well. There is a few people around my area who have a lifetime of knowledge and people don't know about them. I would love to record them, sit down, have a chat. What was it like when you were trying to do up machinery and this, that, and the other? So we set up a YouTube channel. It's called Rust in My Blood. Right, because it was always the saying I had,
Yeah.
I have the same disease as you have, rust in me blood. Until a smart fella turned around one day and said, oh, yeah, that was a good idea, Rob. Yeah, Robert's using someone else's tools. So
That is very good. Yeah.
there's always one out there to that. No, we're really looking forward to it. Now, as I said, I was talking to you and a few other people putting the feelers out, and everyone said, oh, yeah, I definitely would do something like that because we want to get the public involved in as well.
Brilliant.
Another thing we're going to do, because it's going to take us a while now to do each individual thing, we want to fill the gap in between the filming. So there's so much stuff lying in people's garages. Oh yeah, that was my grandfather's. I'll get round to it someday, and 20 years down the road, it's rusted and it's gone, and it's
Yeah.
too expensive to do. I want to do something to go and get people up off their arse, go out and do the project. So what I'm saying to people is, if you have something that you want to do, give us a shout. We'll go down, do a quick film, tell us a story behind it,
Yep.
and I'll say to you, okay, how long is it going to take you? So I want you to be honest. Could take me a year or 6 months. I'll be back in a year or I'll be back in 6 months.
Mm.
And that's putting a little bit of pressure on you just to give you the kick to
To
get
move
up. Geez,
along.
these boys are coming down. I better get this finished, sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Um, I'm at the age now, Eamon, where I'm lucky. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. So I don't. If if someone's nervous around me or I say something improper, that's your problem, not
Yeah.
mine. But I'm at the stage in life now where I won't be around here in 20 years' time or 30 years' time, or wherever. You got to go stretch over. If I get these machines done the way I want them to do, if I'm dead and gone, I want these tractors still out there raising money for charity. It's literally even a legacy.
They will be. Correct. I was just going to say part of your legacy. They will.
Yeah, something like that.
They
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
A few years ago, I was involved in the Fisherstown tractor and truck run, and I managed to wiggle my way onto Radio 3, Midlands Radio 3.
Yeah.
And I had a great chat with Will Faulkner thereafter, but there was a few objections going around at the time about the tractor runs, and it boiled my blood. I said, no, I'm not having this. I said, so we're off air. And I said to him, get one of them crowd in here, says I, and I'll do a one-to-one argument with them. Because in the meantime, I rang round to all the tractor run lads I know. Now, just the lads I know.
Yeah.
And in 10 years, Eamon, 15 million euro was raised for local charities through tractor runs.
It's
And
unreal, isn't
these
it?
crowd were trying to stop it. So we'll put out the feelers that, do you want to come on and talk or have a discussion? Now, one of them. Not one of them would take me up on it, you know. So, every community has something like that going. So we want to get behind that, have a look at, and reach out to other people and say, no, this is a great community in restoration,
Brilliant.
and don't be afraid of it. If I can do it,
Yeah.
anyone can do it. Now I'm lucky where I am. They always say like Laois is a fantastic county for vintage. It's not. It's the biggest fucking scrapyard in Ireland. Seriously, behind everyone's shed, there's a half dozen cars, tractors,
Thrown
bikes.
somewhere,
You even a lot. That was Grandlad's lawnmower. We'll get that going. It's a
yeah.
project, and that's basically what I want to try and do and get people interested.
Brilliant.
A few years ago, I had an old Alice chamber long before I decided to do this, and I was there one night. And there's a great friend of mine, Johnny Lurhall. Everyone knows him around the area, and a simple gasket was gone in it in the petrol bowl. And it was 2 days before the no, it was the day before the run actually. And I was like, I'm not going to get this shot going. It's petrol spilling everywhere. I couldn't have it anywhere. But Johnny came down that morning and he looked at it and he smiled and he said, have you got cornflakes? I said, why, are you hungry? He says, get me the box of cornflakes. So I went in and got the box of cornflakes and he cut the washer out of it and put the shiny side, but cut two of them and put the shiny side facing out and facing down, pour it into it. And that's been in that tractor running for 5 years. He said, that's what they used to do in the Second World War because you couldn't get gaskets or stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was a neighbour of mine up the road. They were trying to time the thing, and he was, I think, it was about 16 or something, and he was on the laptop, and he was able to get his the timing for the tractor. So Johnny won't mind me saying he's a few years older than me. I'm in the middle, and then the younger. There was three different, completely generations stuck in the shed at Friday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, and next thing we got the tractor up and running, and that tractor was on the run Sunday, raising money for charity.
Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
And your interest in raising money for charity probably came from where we met up as our motorbike
Oh,
days.
hanging around with the likes of you, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I put the charitable spirit into you.
Was that? I could say a lot more, but anyway. but it's like you know yourself. You met guys on charity runs, and they're friends for life.
Correct.
They're just
Yeah.
and they come from every walk of life.
Yeah.
It's great crack, you
Yeah.
know.
It's
It,
true.
it really is, and so just to get people a little bit. And don't be afraid to ask anyone for help. If you have a guy who's after restoring a car or anything at all, there's nothing more he likes to talk about that flipping engine. You know, oh, I got these parts here and I got these parts here, and this is the guy you see about this, but do most of it yourself, you know.
People told me I wouldn't be able to do it, but I did.
Oh yeah, well that little bit of stubbornness in me
Yeah.
now, you know, as well. So it ended up anyway that we just said why don't we do a podcast, you know? And
Brilliant.
I've seen what you've done and fairly raw and it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's great stuff, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank you for coming, letting us come down tonight and showing us the
No
setup you
problem.
have and the
Yeah.
whole lot.
No
And
biggie.
if we're half as popular as you in the local community, which I doubt it very much,
Ah, you will.
you
Not
know,
a bother.
I'm telling you now, there's lads absolutely sweating up there now. Jeez, they're going to give him a microphone. He's going to be on the internet, you know.
What's he going to come out with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But uh, one of the things when we said we're going to start filming, I just said there's a couple of things I'm going to put my foot down, and one is it has to be uncut. If I'm in the garage and the spanner slips and the knuckles get ripped, you know you know what's going to happen next.
You
So they
say a
said,
prayer.
well, fair enough. But what the geniuses behind me, my own partner, and the rest of them said, right, we'll have a swear jar.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? Well, every time you swear, you put money in the jar, and by the time you're finished that project, they're guaranteed there'll be enough of money in that jar to buy the next tractor.
Brilliant.
Well, will there now? Yeah, yeah, we'll see. I'll be biting my tongue now fairly often.
I say the
Yeah.
jar could be full fairly fast, will
Ah, no, 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 no. I won't let them. I'm
it?
determined. No, see, I can be normal.
You can, yeah. Not about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, then once we get a couple of the machines done, we will put them on a lorry and we'll go to a local event, or we can go anywhere right around the country,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Now, it does cost a lot of money to do what we're going to do. So I'll be straight up. We hope to have a few T-shirts and stuff and have our logo out there and that. And if we get enough of money through that, and if we can afford then to keep going and doing different machines and stuff, you know.
Perfect.
Basically, anything we do. Now, there's lads out there at the moment going, "Oh Jesus Christ, he's going to destroy half the tractors in the country." If something is original and it's very rare, we'll put it back original. It's like I have a Fordson Major at home. Now they're 10 to a penny. They're everywhere. They're over engineered. You couldn't break them. I've gone now and I'm going to put take out a 46 horsepower engine. I'm going to put in a 400 horsepower. Yeah, it's just yeah. When I said it's off the fucking scale, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
off
it's
the
off the
scale.
scale.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
it's good.
I suppose we restore them to their original.
No, some.
Some,
Now,
yeah.
there's a Minneapolis Molina have as a three wheel one. They're very rare. Now that will go back originally sort of stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair
But
play.
the odd one, we're going to have fun with it. It's
We had a guy here in town, and he had done up this old Dodge car. It was his pride and joy. But when he passed away, I wasn't long after buying a new hearse, and everybody at the funeral said, like, the whole funeral was done perfect, except the hearse was just way too modern for him. It just, he
this is
said,
going to cost a fortune. Like,
well, it's just
to bury
it
this lad,
just
is it?
was. They said it wasn't almost wasn't appropriate because he had done so much work
Oh, the
restored,
old, of
and he
course,
had
yeah,
his
yeah.
steam engine as well, and he had a few. You probably came across him maybe in your time, Johnny Casey from Kerry.
I've heard the name. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, he had
yeah,
an awful lot of stuff that he did up. He had an old steam engine, and he had an old Dodge car, and the Dodge car now was just immaculate, and he imported all the pieces for it
yeah,
from America. And it
yeah,
was probably a 1930s car.
yeah,
But that was just one comment came out during the funeral. He said, like,
yeah.
the hearse was, it was only a couple of months old, I think, at the
I,
time.
I spoke to you before back years ago when they started coming out. I think you mentioned a few times. Remember the sidecar?
Mm,
And I've seen one in there, the funeral, like a biker's funeral and
yeah,
stuff. And you've often seen guys from trucks and that have the coffin on the back of it.
correct,
To me now, I think that's absolute so fitting and so brilliant
correct.
for someone.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably get a fucking wheelbarrow. We'll stop for a pint on the way up,
Right
leave
up,
him in the
yeah,
wheelbarrow,
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
bring him
yeah,
up the
yeah,
rest of the hill.
They had here in Templemore, they had these characters, three great characters who used to go to the funeral masses every day. And of course, they'd always maybe stop in the local on the way to the mass. So they were always quite
As you
witty,
do, like,
as you
yeah,
do.
yeah.
So I remember when people started bringing up the gifts, like they might bring up a hurley for somebody, or they might bring up a football. And of course, the three wise men were at the back of the church and they saw this going on. And they said, when Gray goes, we'll have to bring up another coffin. You meet great characters after that, in fairness.
I'm telling you now, I'll bring up a pint.
A fair play to you,
Yeah,
fair
because
play to you, yeah.
most times I met you, there was always a
The
few
pint
pints
involved,
involved in
correct.
somewhere. Yeah,
Correct, exactly.
there's a guy down beside me, and he said to me, "I have an Alice Chambers." He said, "Would you be interested in it?" I
Mm,
said, "Yeah, all right." So we go down and had a look at it, and I'm looking. This show was perfect. It's
yeah.
just. So he said, "I'm only going to sell it to you on one condition." I said, "What's that?" He says, "You don't ever fucking paint it. It has to be kept original because I
Original.
do a bit of sandblasting as well, as
Yeah.
So I was going, right, right. Anyway, I shook hands with him and I says, deal. And I held his hand and I wouldn't let it go. And he kind of looked at me and he says, you do realize that the day that someone's reading your eulogy, I won't be there. I'll be below fucking painting this yoke. And he said, well, fair enough. He said,
Yeah,
till I die,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but he knows I made him a promise. I will never paint. I will keep it original as it was. It was one owner from you in
Yeah,
the locality.
yeah, yeah.
The difference with me, when I look at a tractor, like I started, as you know, racing Formula One sidecars.
Yeah,
Then went on and into the tractors,
yeah.
and now I'm involved in the Irish Steam Preservation Society. So you can see there's a trend coming on. The
Yeah,
machines are getting bigger but slower,
yeah, yeah,
right? So that trend is keep going. If I look at a small tractor like a Ferguson 20, people say, "Oh, that's a nice little tractor." Yeah, I look at it different. That little thing fed the world.
Mm, it's
Uh,
true.
And when you restore something like that, you're not restoring a tractor, you're restoring your history.
The history, yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
whole world was fed in little machines like that.
correct,
And eventually, then, because of their technology and the way they worked, it's what the machinery we have today.
yeah.
I kind of feel sad for the kids out today. What are they going to do in 30 years' time? Where's their little electric vehicles going to be?
Mm.
A Duracell battery in the corner.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's all that's left of it. At least we're lucky. Do you ever watch the Macho Brothers? What is this? They have a program on the. I can't think of the name of it now. The auctioneers over in England, the cash for cars or something like that.
Oh,
Mania.
yes, yeah, yeah.
It's one of those things. But this beautiful Rolls Royce, he was there in the auction, and beside it was a Ford Fiesta.
Mm,
And he said the Ford Fiesta will go more than the Rolls Royce.
yeah,
No, he says the person who has any affiliation with them old cars are gone.
yeah,
But the guy who has money in his pocket today, oh, my father used to drive one of them, or my grandfather, and that's why they're going seriously up in value
I
now.
got it, yeah,
Stuff from the 70s and 80s now is making more money than stuff from the 20s
I got it.
because people have a connection with
And the
it,
kind of affiliation with them, yeah, yeah, correct,
more or less.
yeah,
But when you go to the tractors, it's not.
yeah,
They just seem to, oh, an old Ferguson 20, it doesn't matter, we never had one. I want one.
I got it,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what I enjoy.
Because even around here now, there's a great society where they have the vintage tractors, and they do a lot of runs, a lot of charity
Every
runs.
little village in Ireland, even where I'm from originally, Castle Pollard, they have a field day down there.
Yeah,
And it is literally so. Like when I said to you about the 15 million that was raised, that was just in the few local runs that I
runs.
know. Like our own little run in Ballybrahes there, it's gone from a few hundred quid, and after a few years, they're up to 50, 60,000 a year now.
Yeah,
And like, if you know my area,
yeah.
it's so small. It's astonishing what they're able to do.
It's incredible
Now
money.
they are would be one of the best tractor runs around.
Yeah,
But when you add up from Port Arlington to Bracknell to all around the Midlands, there it is astonishing. Like
the money that's raised, and even
what they do for communities.
in fairness to the bikers as well, they're great to raise
Oh,
money
well,
for,
that's yeah,
aren't they? In fairness to
that's
them,
all. So remember, we've often done the run with St. Luke's,
correct.
going around the country there,
Yeah,
and it's just but like even one woman was on from Cork one day. I was listening to her, like the boy racers, as they're called.
mm,
Um, somebody was badly injured, a house fire or something down the Cork, and they rallied round together and they paid for raise a fortune amount of money. And behind every petrol head or diesel head, there is a great soul there.
yeah, yeah.
And that's all my friends come from that sort of a background.
Background, and that's where we met originally. Was, of
Yeah,
course, on motorbikes.
yeah, because you were saying to me we do a podcast about the time we were on the bikes and the whole lot, and I was going, yeah, that's grand, but from 85 to 95, they're a bit hazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Them
yeah,
days,
yeah.
them days are a little hazy. So I think we leave that
Leave that. Leave
That
that for
Pandora's
another day.
box closed for another interview some other time.
And when you saw the motorcycle hearse, what did you think about it?
I said, yeah, if I'm going, I want to go on that.
Would you? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. My only
yeah,
issue with it, I often, and I've spoken to several people about it, but when you have a lot of motorbikes around, it can't be seen because it's down low.
Y-
If that
yeah,
if that was a hearse and there's a lot of motorbikes around, you can immediately identify
yeah.
it's a motorcycle funeral.
Yeah, just when I think of it now, I have a fire engine at home. You fucking put me up the top of that, I'd be seen.
Yeah. Because there is a company in England at the moment, and they have designed a truck with a kind of just a decking area on the back of it,
Yeah,
and it's been used quite a bit for funerals, for obviously for people who are involved in trucks and
I saw it in a Thai, the truck show in a Thai. It was actually there. And first thing I saw, I went, "Jeez, that's creepy."
Mhm.
And then I looked and I said, "No, it's actually class."
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting it. Probably that's kind of what, whoa,
yeah, yeah,
But when I see it now, anyone who's involved in that it's in their blood
correct.
to be either a trucker or a
Yeah,
biker or
yeah.
tractor or whatever it was. And I think it's such a fitting way for them to go.
It's appropriate, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Yeah, it is
You
appropriate.
know,
It's marking part of their life and part of, like you
you,
said, part of their history and their
yeah,
yeah,
you've often said it. You're celebrating their life,
correct, correct.
and that's this kind of want to say in if after maybe if I pass away, someone say, "Hey, do you remember that fucking nut job? He built them tractors. Yeah, that's them on the road. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're keeping your memory alive
Correct.
as well.
You're
You know,
leaving. You're not just passing through this world.
no, 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 no.
You're leaving
And
something
for,
behind.
at least for all the bad things I've done in my life, I'm going to have to do some penance. So just there they are now.
This is your
So
penance.
yeah.
This is your stairway
Yeah,
to
I'm
heaven.
going upstairs with a clean sheet.
Stairway to heaven.
I left the tractors down there, Lord. They're still raising money for charity. That has to buy me some credit.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But the biggest thing is when we're doing this, it's fun.
Yeah.
I still have to keep my day job because I have to keep paying the
Of
bills and
course.
the
Yeah.
whole lot. But a very good friend of mine said to me years ago, he says, Rob, if you ever get a hobby and you can make a few bob out of it or even work at it, you'll never work a day in your life.
Correct. Yeah. The one thing I would have a fear of, just say if I started doing something professional on a motorbike, that it would take the enjoyment of the motorbike away from me because I enjoy the motorbike so much,
Yeah,
and it gets me away from what I'm doing every day.
yeah.
That if I start doing it full time for some particular reason or start getting financial gain, then it takes that
Edge
from it.
away.
I'll
Yeah,
always be
yeah.
afraid of that.
Yeah, I suppose I understand what you're saying. I'm looking back now, and where I'm based at the moment, we are so lucky up there. We have a young crowd coming along, the next generation.
Mm.
They're fucking worse than we are, Eamon. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I done a bit of driving with a school bus in the mornings. And on a Friday morning, you go into Monasterevin. There's nowhere to fucking park. There's just a line of tractors outside the school because it's half day. They all drive the
the
tractors to
tractors at
school.
the school.
Yeah, honestly, teachers are there have no car park. I think it's absolutely brilliant, you know. And them lads will be on the half day, so they're going on to work or they're going home to work on their farms or do this the whole lot. But it's there in them,
Brilliant, yeah,
Just
brilliant.
scratch the surface and it's there. Um, the fact is now that I'm kind of moved on and involved in Strawberry with the steam and the stuff, and the young crowd are coming. If you don't move on, you're not leaving room for them to come along to develop,
Correct.
you know. And I'd say probably one of the biggest reasons why our own local charity runs are doing so well is because the younger generation are getting involved
Mm.
nowadays.
Which is great, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
what would most charity that you would donate it to the most, or do you
Well,
try and divide it up?
no, well, where we are is always cancer.
Oh, excellent. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they do a local one then, and then they done a couple of the hospitals up in Dublin and a couple of hospitals, but it's always connected with some sort of a cancer charity sort of
Very
stuff,
good,
you
very
know.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then there was a couple of things. The other local areas could be doing it for the local football club, or could be doing something like that. We'll always go and support them.
Mm,
You know,
yeah,
anywhere in the 20-mile radius, you'll always see a couple of tractors from Fisherstown Tractor and Truck Run, or a couple of trucks. Well, the truck boys, they can go a little bit further.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, if I'm
yeah.
going to sit
Correct.
60 mile on a tractor, you can go fuck off with yourself. You know, we'll go in the truck and that. So like, this is where Jack comes in now. His dad, he's big into the trucks.
Yeah.
And it's actually Jack's sister now is the secretary of the club for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's everyone's involved. It's a small circle,
But it's the
but there's a
brilliant
huge,
comradeship
huge
too.
ripple from it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
goes out to everybody there,
yeah.
sort of stuff, you know.
It's great to see the comradeship too, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, the basic line about it is, if you don't support the club down the road, they're not going to support you.
Yeah,
So people say, "Oh, Jesus, lads, you're great to do whatever you've done," but it's a whole year's work.
yeah,
We have
correct.
to go around supporting other clubs
Yeah,
to make sure that they come to us at the
yeah,
day, you know. And it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, sort
correct.
of stuff, you
Brilliant.
know.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's you know, it's my world is a little bit different than yours. You
But
know?
we still collide every now
Yeah,
and then.
but then in the middle of it, then we come in and have the bikes or just
Yeah,
go for
it's just funny that our friendship started with the bikes probably over 20 years ago, probably, and it just always was always there, wasn't it?
probably one of the few people that knows you 20 years and haven't fallen out with you yet. Would
Exactly.
that be true?
So for
Yeah.
both of us.
So we don't see each other that often. That's it. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I was watching one of your podcasts there, because I remember you caught us to do the Crumlin run a few times, at the Easter egg run, the whole lot.
Mm.
You had the guy in here, and I could see his face, and I could see him looking over, he's going, "What's he going to ask me next?"
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So can you imagine the poor terrified person's going to sit in front of me, and
Yeah.
I can say anything to him?
Correct. They're really going to brace themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's going to be off. But there's a fine line about being off the cut and off the air.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
have to work that one out.
And I suppose it is a kind of a forum. You want it to be a forum where people aren't afraid to express themselves or say
I
what they
want
want
it
to say
real.
either, don't you? You want
Uh,
it to be
yeah, I want it real.
correct.
You
Correct.
know,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. I just the way the world has gone at the moment to be fucking so PC correct and all that really gets under my skin at the moment.
It's incredible, isn't it?
And it's gone beyond a joke. And but like on a serious note, like when I be driving the school bus, you hear the kids talking, and you kind of go, "Christ!" So the parents even know what's going on.
Mm.
So you know, and a few times now I've walked, and I've actually like um, how would I say, the expression on my face. How would I put it? You know when someone's constipated? That I'm not constipated. I'm just biting my fucking tongue because I want to say something and I can't.
Yeah,
You know, because it's just. But when we do our thing, we do either the podcast or we're doing the film on the tractor. It's us.
yeah,
When we're in the work shed at night or the garage or whatever we're going to do, it's what you see is what you get.
brilliant.
And if you have a problem with that, click the button and scroll on somewhere else.
Go look at something else.
That's basically
Yeah,
what
which is good.
we're
And I
going to do.
think they always say about a podcast, it has to be about something that you're very passionate about, which you obviously are.
Yeah, yeah,
And then that will generate interest. Once you're passionate about the subject that you're talking about,
yeah.
then you're going to be interested in
Yeah,
it, and people are going to be interested to hear your story.
yeah. I was often accused of being a people pleaser sometimes, you know, and I suppose a little bit of that could be true.
Yeah,
But if we go along and we do this and we get people involved, and somebody down in Connemara or Cork or in Templemore here, and they end up doing a project because they were watching us or what, to me, that's it.
that's
That's
brilliant.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Your
yeah.
life on this earth
That's it. No,
has been.
unfortunately, my father passed away when I was young. No, I was lucky enough. I was 19, sorry, 20 when he passed away. But I was able to do a few years' work with him. He was a builder, and I learned so much of him. And if you have either a grandfather or a parent or someone that you can relate to and do a project together. I went to the Cushla Centre a few years ago. We raised money for them in Portlaoise, the aftercare cancer place, and they were bringing us around on a tour. And as we were going into a place, there was a guy there, and there was two young lads, and they were painting a picture, And I said, "Oh, I said, he's done art classes." And she said, "Well, that poor chap is terminally ill, okay, and what they're doing is they're doing a drawing with the two sons." So later on, they can always look back and ask, "This is something we
Very
did
good.
with our dad."
Very neat.
So it's to help the kids later on. And I just went, fuck, something as simple as that,
Yeah.
and they're brilliant in there. So it's kind of memories, I have a feeling that the kids nowadays coming up are kind of losing what the memories like
That's it. Yeah.
that we had.
Our office
Now,
of it.
most of the memories I had was got a kick in the arse, get out and do something. Now. You can't do that nowadays. They're lucky in that way. But yeah, no, I actually feel very proud when I look around at the kids in my area, the teenagers there, and see the way they did get involved in everything.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And I know it's about kids, teenagers now. Most of them be on their phones looking down, wouldn't even talk to you. But the kids around my area that's involved with the child, the fathers turned up, the young lad is with them, and
Yeah.
they have their own little group. They just walk up and talk to you. They're not
Brilliant.
little robots.
Yeah.
They're actually little human beings.
Yeah.
And they have the crack with you and talk to you and the whole lot. And I was going, what's wrong? And I've not been racist in saying this, but the kids from the towns are a hell of a lot different than the kids from the countryside. And you're only talking about 3 mile down the road.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. The kids out in the countryside are really in rural Ireland. They're just like one step down from their fathers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Smaller wellies,
Yeah.
that's all,
Smaller
but they're
release.
very safe. But the kids in the town just seem to be on their phones the whole time,
Yeah.
and so it's up
It's,
to themselves or
myself
something.
and my dad used to go for a drink together. Of course, at the end of the night, then we'd say, "Actually, we'll have one more." And I'd say to him, "Is it your round or my round?"
Mm.
And he'd say, "You buy it. It's all my money anyway."
Can you imagine, right? If we were teenagers, that fucking Facebook and Instagram was around,
Yeah.
we'd be doing a hell of a long stretch by now.
We'd be in trouble.
Jail. Half the stuff we got. That's why I feel sorry for the kids nowadays. They can't get away with half the shit we got away with when we were
The
kids,
two of us the two of us would be important.
Oh, oh, I, I said earlier on, we're sitting outside of the story, and the one story I remember about you is the time we went down to Alice's.
Mm.
To what was 30, 40 of us there. Went down with the Honda Goldwing Club, and Richard O'Keefe and Liam and all the boys was there. And of course, we all had the leather waistcoats and all the badges and the whole. And we need to. There's only two little pubs in the place, and we're staying 2 nights. So the pubs agreed one night I'll have them, next
Yeah.
day you have them. They had music and the whole lot. But ended up there was a lot of tourists around, of course, into a little village and see all these couple of hundred motorbikes parked up. And it ended up anyway, two American girls came in and one of them was on their phone and says, "Oh my God, I'm actually drinking with the Irish Hells Angels." And we looking at her, for fuck's sake, they're gold wings, love, cop on. But I remember you were standing in the corner, Annie, and Richard O'Keefe was looking over us and all that. And I said to you, I said, "Well, what do you think?" And at the same time, the American girl heard me, she turned around, she looked, and you were just sitting there smiling, like, 5'2", 110 pound. Look well in mahogany, right? Now, of course, we fell around the place laughing, but the girl had no idea until someone told her an hour later that you were actually an undertaker. The expressions on her face that day was something unreal. And their memories are something that was just off the cuff, little
Yeah.
remark, the whole lot. But every single person that was in the room that night remembers the bar.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It was
Oh,
good crack.
that's actually the day we met on the viaduct in Cork, and Richard O'Keefe came out with the Honda Goldwing and the trailer, and the fucking trailer came
Fell
off.
off.
And all I heard was Richard's wife saying, "Oh, me fucking stew." There was a big pot of stew in the body. She had it
Straight.
wrapped up in cellophane, the whole lot. The trailer went straight across the motorway and just set in the hard shoulder.
Yeah, I remember the trailer falling off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you remember sitting the stew at 2 o'clock in the morning? She went mad the next day, come back to the pub.
It was ideal after a few pints.
Oh, it was perfect. But there was no chipper. I think the nearest chipper was 40 mile away. So the stew was going to get dead that night anyway.
I used to do a run. I remember with Billy Shanahan,
Oh, yeah.
and he did several runs.
Yeah.
But I remember at one stage, when Billy's daughter passed away, and of course all the people that used to go on the run came to the funeral.
Mm.
But they thought the Undertaker was just my nickname.
Yes. Yes.
They didn't realize I actually had a funeral home.
Yes.
They thought it was just a nickname.
Yeah, because when I met you first, people said about, oh, you know, Eamon, the Undertaker. Now, I always thought that you had a habit of passing people on the inside of the bikes. So every time you were behind me, I'd look to the left, that fucker's going to take me down the inside. You know, I never realized you're not. So people said the Undertakers. That's when I
Yeah,
turned around, I christened you Digger.
yeah, yeah,
Because he'd fucking dig a hole a bunch into it, you know. I
yeah.
think I knew you for about nearly a year before I actually realized
Realized,
that,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Or there was
you were telling the truth.
another guy here in town. He was quite fast on a bike. So the two of us went to Turles.
Uh,
The lads in Turles who say, "Oh, here's the Overtaker and the Undertaker."
well, I remember at the time when I done the racing and went to the Isle of Man, and I have no problems in telling you, I shit myself over there. Like it was fucking scary. This is from Mandela Park, the big boy stuff that time. And the guy I used to race with, Andy, had bone cancer in his right arm, and the arm was kind of dead, but it was all there. So we used to kind of fix this. It's more like Velcro onto the glove and onto the arm. And the back wheel of the bike was 14 inches wide tire. And I used to grab the swinging arm coming out underneath, and next thing I'd pull it that hard, I reduce the traction on the tire from 14 inches down to 9, and she'd power slide round the corner. After the second lap, of course, his arm, because all the pressure was on the other arm, he'd get tired. And then he wouldn't have the power to pull the brakes. So we were flying into corners and just straight through the whole lot. But I remember on the first lap, on the second corner, I said to me, my father had died a few years previous, and I said, "For fuck's sake, get me off this thing safe. What am I doing here?" There was two lads crashed. Uh, another lad broke down. We passed about two or three people because we know brakes going into the corners. And next thing, on the second lap, I said, "Fuck, we're in the top five." And then the confidence came in. And as I was leaning out, I was taking a corner about 175 mile an hour, and your shoulders actually just tipping the curb. I lifted my foot and I gave Andy a kick in the back of the helmet. And I just done that. Go for it. And we got second.
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I love when people come into the house, the trophies in the corner, beside the darts trophies and all the stuff. And I have my little motorbike trophies there, and lads are going, "Oh yeah, you've done a bit of racing the whole lot." And next thing they go quiet when they see the Isle of Man trophies
Oh, yeah,
down at the
yeah.
bottom of it. I'd have to say that'd be one of my proudest moments. I said, "Done that." Wore the T-shirt. I was there. Like there was unfortunately there was a couple of lads killed in the second race. I don't know if there. I remember standing in Castletown. The two lorries were back together, and there was a little crack down there. You could see out. And the Lord Mayor was there, and it was kind of, and of course the crowd went fucking mad when we got our trophies, because you had the Scottish and the Welsh there as well, and they
Yeah,
cheer for anyone only the English,
yeah, yeah.
right? So we had a huge fan base straight away.
Yeah.
But just before I got my trophy, I could see the ambulance going over to the morgue,
Oh, gee.
and I could see the hearse parked over there as well. And I'm going there, Jesus Christ. But in the way I looked at it back that time, someone say it was deadly dangerous what you were doing, but I would hope that if I made a mistake and I lost my life at, that no one else would give up the sport that they love because of my mistake.
Mhm.
And I used to use that. It was just an excuse because I just wanted to keep racing. It
Racing,
was
yeah.
just a pure adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
We hadn't got crack cocaine in those days. We had to do something.
That's it.
Yeah, it
And
was
it's
either
like,
that or jail. We were going to
and
go
it's
somewhere.
just like
You
the
know,
motorbikes, they're a little bit dangerous, but the love of the
it's
journey
the,
just
it's the
keeps you
thrill
going.
and the
Isn't it?
thrill and the freedom and
Yeah.
all that. In all fairness, people have got hurt on bikes, but I remember in a couple of occasions, and you can back me up on this, where you go around the corner and something's happened. I said, "Jeez, if I was in a car, I would have been headed," but you got away with it because
Yeah,
you're on
yeah.
a bike.
Yeah, great.
And
Yeah,
people
yeah.
don't see that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I went around the corner one day, and the fella was on the wrong side of the road, heading straight for me, and I couldn't stop. He couldn't stop,
Yeah,
and I got in, and I remember him. He broke the indicator off my bike. There was only about 18 inches of a gap, and I got through it.
yeah.
He went in and hit the wall then after.
Like,
Yeah, and I had a few choice words for him after, but we leave that at
uh,
that.
but any accident that you walk away from, in fairness, and
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah. On far, but you know what? When you're involved in something, especially with the bikes, you will always come up with an excuse
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
keep
correct.
going. And people
Yeah,
say, "Oh no, leave them bikes there." No, no, this,
no,
that, or so. You know,
yeah,
I'm fine. I can't get trapped in the car. I can't turn over a car or a
yeah.
bike or all that sort of stuff. You know.
And the bike, then I suppose I often think the bike is very like your tractors too. It's a comradeship, and you meet a lot of people. And if you pull up at a petrol station with your vintage tractor, and someone else pulls up with another vintage tractor, straight away.
You have something in common, no matter what your background is, and you're going to start talking.
But if you put up at a petrol station with two brand new, very expensive cars, You'd actually be jealous of the other person that they have the same car as you.
Yeah, I found that. I found that, and I'm not disrespectful to anybody. The car club, they're different.
Yeah,
There's a different mentality. I don't know what it is, but they just don't seem to gel the same as the bikers do, or the trucks, or any of that sort of
yeah.
stuff. You know,
But
it's
someone with a very old motorcycle pulls up beside someone with a brand new one.
yeah,
They will start talking. Would you take a very top brand of car, say one of the really expensive cars, you're up around 80 or 90,000, and if two of those cars pull up at a petrol station together, they will not communicate with each other.
it's a bit of a case of Billy Big Balls, isn't
Correct.
it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, you were saying about the old boy and the bike
Yeah,
and the young boy. It'll end up after 10 minutes, the fucking swap bikes.
yeah,
Here,
correct.
take that. See what you think of it.
Yeah,
Have a
correct.
look at
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's that.
There's a comradeship,
Yeah.
and yeah, I bet your tractor runs the same thing. There's
Oh,
great comradeship.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's the same back to the bikes there. Like, unfortunately now I get a text message from someone has passed away,
Mm.
but they're people I knew 30 years ago, but
Yeah.
we're still in contact.
Contact. Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mightn't see them for years at a time.
Yeah.
You turn up at at a we used to turn up at weddings, then we turned up at divorces. Now we're all turning up at funerals. We're getting to that
Yeah. We
age.
moved on.
Yeah, but we're all just got a bit grayer and a bit bigger.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. But you're still the very same, you
Still have the
know.
same bit of fun.
Yeah,
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 and
yeah,
enjoy every bit of it. Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So now that I've every 10 years, I kind of get bored with whatever I'm doing, and I'll
Mm.
flip it completely around and do something off the scale
Yeah. Yeah.
altogether. So I'd say this is my last flip now
I
for a
wouldn't think
while.
so. I wouldn't think so.
No,
No.
this is going to keep me busy for a few
Yeah.
years now,
Correct.
sort of stuff.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you think you'd be getting sense at this stage?
But
Do you get sense yet?
getting sense is overrated.
That's your excuse. Do you get away with that? I just get dirty looks thrown at me. Yeah.
As they say, growing old is not an option, but growing wiser is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I never use that now. You know.
But once you enjoy life, I think once you enjoy it, and that's like I say to you, you're starting up something now that you have a big passion for.
Hmm.
So once you have a big passion for it, I personally think it will go well. Well, go well then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope so. I look, there's a lot of positivity around it,
yeah,
you know, and the fact, you know, I have to be honest with you. I'm one of these lucky guys. I have a partner behind me who's 1,000%.
brilliant.
She just knows she can't change my mind.
Yeah,
Is that it, you know? And then, of course, we're lucky enough. Then I have Jack Noons then doing the filming and the editing and all that sort of stuff, you know.
brilliant.
And he's into the trucks is his thing,
Yeah.
and he has his own tractor, like every young lad around the area. But the trucks is his thing. Is going to take after his father, and of course his grandfather. His actually grandfather was one of the first people around Leash who done work with me when I had the cranes.
Yes.
We had a couple of oversized loads,
Yeah.
and I went to Old Christie and I said, "Jez, they want this diesel tank moved. It's sicking out 5 foot either side. Be grand."
Oh,
Need
well.
an escort vehicle? No, be grand.
I
Nothing was a hassle. Just job was done. End of story.
get
Sort of
it done.
stuff.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah.
yeah.
Fair play, Robert. Really appreciate you coming down and chatting. And I promise I'll head up on the bike and we'll meet up in your place and we'll have
Oh, when I start the broadcast, you'll be one of the
the first. I'll be up.
first people up. Yeah, 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 yeah. And
I'll have rust in my blood.
you know, yeah, you might have a bit more than rust by the time you finish in my place. Now, I think we could manage 1 or 2 pints now when you're up
Something,
there. You know.
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that'll have to be done.
yeah.
Fair play, Robert. Really appreciate you talking to us.
Listen, thanks a million, and
Thanks,
sure, we'll talk again.
Please, God.